You walk into the movie theater. The smell hits you immediately. Warm butter, salt, and that sugary sweetness from the candy aisle. You just paid $20 for your ticket. You're excited to see the new blockbuster. But then you get to the concession stand, and the real price of your movie night becomes painfully clear. A large popcorn is $9. A large soda is $7. A box of candy you can get for $1 at the dollar store is $6. You do the math in your head. 2 tickets, 1 popcorn, and 2 sodas, you're suddenly pushing $70. You have this sinking feeling in your stomach, the same feeling you get when you see your grocery bill or your rent going up again. That feeling that no matter how hard you work, your money just disappears. You feel like you're being ripped off. But the truth is, you are. But not in the way you think. The movie theater isn't scamming you on popcorn to get rich. It's scamming you on popcorn to survive. Because the hidden secret of the entire film industry is that movie theaters don't actually make money from selling movie tickets. Stay with me, and I'll show you the simple math that explains why your popcorn costs so much and how understanding this one business model will change the way you see almost every company around you. Now, we all grew up with a very simple idea of how a movie theater works. It's a cinema. It shows movies. So naturally, it must make its money from selling movie tickets. That makes perfect sense, right? The movie is the main product. And for a long time, back in your parents' or grandparents' day, that was mostly true. Theaters would get a decent cut of the ticket sales, and concessions were just a nice little bonus, a side hustle. But today, that model is completely broken. Think about it like this. Your phone bill used to be simple. You paid for a certain number of minutes. Today, you're paying for data, a streaming subscription, insurance, an installment plan for the phone itself. The phone call part is almost free. The business completely changed, but the name stayed the same. The exact same thing happened to movie theaters. They are still called movie theaters, but their real business isn't the movie. So here's the problem. You, the customer, are caught in the middle of a brutal war between 2 corporate giants. The movie studios, like Disney, Universal, and Warner Brothers, and the movie theaters, like AMC, Regal, and Cinemark. You do everything you're supposed to do. You see the trailers, you get hyped for the new superhero movie, you plan your weekend, you drive to the theater, you stand in line, and you buy the expensive ticket. You've done your part. But behind the scenes, something is happening to your $20 before it even touches the theater's cash register. The movie studios, the ones who actually make the movies, have all the power. They know everyone wants to see their big new release on opening weekend, so they go to the theaters and make them a deal they can't refuse. For the first week a movie is out, the studio might demand 80, even 90% of all ticket sales. Let me say that again. You hand over a $20 bill for your ticket. The theater owner smiles, thanks you, and then immediately has to send as much as 18 of those dollars straight to the studio. The theater is left with just $2. $2. From that $2, they have to pay for this massive, expensive building. They have to pay the electricity bill to run the giant projectors and keep the lights on. They have to pay the staff who take your ticket and clean the floors. They have to pay for insurance, marketing, and repairs. How can anyone possibly run a business on that? They can't. It's impossible. This is the silent frustration of the modern economy. You feel like your money isn't going as far as it used to. And you're right, because you're often not paying for the thing you think you're paying for. The system is designed to make you spend more just to keep the lights on. And that's where the concession stand comes in.
The best way to understand this is with a simple metaphor. A movie theater is not a cinema. A movie theater is a high-end restaurant that has an incredibly expensive marketing department. And that marketing department's only job is to get you in the door. What's the marketing? It's the multi-billion-dollar blockbuster movies. The movie theater essentially pays the movie studios for the privilege of advertising their products. The movie is not the product. The movie is a loss leader. It's the bait. The real business model breaks down into 3 simple parts. First, the ticket split. As we said, the studios have all the leverage, especially for big blockbusters. The deal might start at 90-10 in the studio's favor for week 1. Maybe it goes to 80-20 in week 2. If the movie's still playing a month later, the theater might finally get to keep 50% of the ticket price. But by then, nobody is coming to see it. All the real money is made in those first 2 weeks. So, on average, theaters are lucky to keep about 40 cents of every dollar you spend on a ticket. Second, the concession margin. This is where the magic happens. Unlike the ticket money, the theater keeps 100% of the money you spend on food and drinks. And the markup, the profit margin, is astronomical. Let's talk about that $9 popcorn. The cost for the theater to make it? The kernels, the oil, the salts, the bag? It's about 40 cents. That's a profit margin of over 2,000%. That $7 soda? It costs the theater about 25 cents. This isn't greed. It's a desperate survival strategy. That insane profit is not extra cash. It's the money that pays all the bills that the ticket sales were supposed to cover. Your $9 popcorn is subsidizing everyone's salary. It's paying the electric bill. It's fixing the leaky roof. And third, the experience. This is the final piece of the puzzle. If the movie is just the marketing and the food is the real product, then what is the theater actually selling? It's selling the experience. The giant screen, the booming sound system you can't replicate at home, the communal feeling of laughing or gasping with 100 other people, the ritual of getting out of the house for a date night or a family outing. They have to make that experience so good, so compelling, that you're willing to walk up to that counter, see those ridiculous prices, and say, you know what? Fine. 1 large popcorn, please. Because you're not just buying popcorn, you're buying your ticket into that 2-hour experience.
So when you're standing in that line, feeling angry about the price of M&Ms, it's easy to feel like a victim. It feels like some greedy corporation is just trying to squeeze every last penny out of you. But the key insight is this: the theater isn't trying to get rich off you. It's just trying not to go broke. This isn't a story about your personal failure to budget. You aren't bad with money because a $70 movie night feels insane. It is insane. But your anger should be pointed in the right direction. It's not the teenager behind the counter setting the prices. It's not even the theater manager. It's the result of a lopsided system where the creators of the content, the studios, hold all the cards, and the distributors, the theaters, are left fighting for scraps. And when you understand that, it flips the whole narrative. Your frustration can turn into clarity. Your feeling of being ripped off can be replaced by a feeling of being in on the secret. You now understand the game. You can see the matrix. And that gives you the power to decide how you want to play it. So what can you actually do with this information? This isn't about boycotting movie theaters or smuggling snacks in your jacket. It's about becoming a smarter consumer. Here are 3 simple shifts in how you can approach it. 1. Stop thinking of concessions as an optional snack. Start thinking of them as the real price of admission. The ticket is just the down payment. The popcorn is the monthly bill. When you frame it this way, you can make a more honest decision. Instead of asking, is this popcorn worth $9? Ask, is this entire 2-hour experience with the giant screen and amazing sound worth $30 per person? Sometimes the answer is yes. For a massive movie you've been waiting a year for, it absolutely is. Other times you might realize you'd rather just wait and watch it at home. But now it's a conscious choice, not a surprise expense. 2. Start playing their game, but better. Theaters know their model is tough on customers, so they create systems to soften the blow. Use them. Sign up for the free loyalty program. You'll get points, free popcorn on your birthday, and special offers. Look for the discount days. Many theaters have cheaper tickets on Tuesdays. Go to a matinee showing instead of prime time on a Friday night. They've created these loopholes to keep you coming back. You just have to be smart enough to use them. 3. Understand the long-term picture. This entire business model is fragile. It's being threatened by streaming services and giant home televisions. Theaters are fighting to stay relevant. They're adding fancy reclining seats, serving alcohol, and hosting special events. They are desperate to prove that the experience is still worth paying for. Understanding this allows you to see why they do what they do. You're no longer just a passive customer, you're an informed observer of a massive industry in transition.
At the end of the day, the economics of a movie theater are a perfect microcosm of our modern economy. The product you think you're buying is often just marketing for the product they're actually selling. From your free checking account that charges overdraft fees, to the cheap printer that requires absurdly expensive ink cartridges, this model is everywhere. But it's not a conspiracy to make you poor, it's just business. And the moment you understand the real business behind the curtain, you take back control. You stop being a victim of the system and you start making the system work for you. You are now in on the secret of the concession stand. You're smarter than you were 12 minutes ago, and that's a pretty good return on your investment. If this explanation helped you see the world a little differently, hit the subscribe button. We break down a new hidden business model like this every single week. And let me know in the comments, what's the most overpriced thing you've ever bought? Next week, we're going to tackle an even bigger one, how a single, secretive company in Italy came to control 80% of the entire world's eyewear market. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.